Dave here, how are you? Today is the 9th of September 2018 and I'm going to try something a little bit different this week. I'm running the main camera, which is this one now, and I also have the second camera, which I'll just flick over to here, for close-up work, and hopefully that will work. So back to me again, and I'm trying, as I say, I'm trying to get it working nicely for everyone. All right, so I'm guessing the stream's running because I've got a few people saying g'day. That's great. Now today, even up to about 15 minutes ago, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I've been away up at the Gold Coast, and it was the Total Tools annual conference, and I had to work up there for a couple of days as a representative for a company called Maxis. And it was good fun. It was good fun. I got to hang out with a lot of people who wouldn't want my job. You know, I work for a few days for this company, and then the rest of the time I get to play here and do things and make videos and have this little chat session once a week. And I get to see all the new gear that hits the market. So hopefully people aren't going to give me too much of a hard time. I have got a little bit of video and some stills from that show. How about we do that right now so you can have a look. Here we go. I can talk over it, which is fine. This is a demolition saw from DeBolt. That's run by batteries. And this is almost a worm drive circular saw. A right angle drill in stud work, unbelievably powerful. And I had no idea DeBolt made chisels. Look at that. And if you're going to get a toolbox, what better color? And all of the foam inserts, aren't they amazing? And you need your pliers as well, all in inserts. And again, this is not me doing a big advertising thing. Here's Craig. This is me just showing you the environment that I was in for a couple of days, and they even fed me. How cool is that? I'm reading down the side here as well. Hello from Canada, cooling off finally. There's the Makita stand. And Bailey Ladders. Good morning from Mount Vic from Paul. Greetings Dave, John Org. Peter Lessick, is Dave live or it is my internet again? I think I'm live. Barco, safety gear, the stuff there was fantastic. Helicopters for doing concrete slabs. Karcher, pressure cleaners. And the gang from Festool, I hang out with them for a little bit. White International, so water pumps, vacuums. Milwaukee, all their power tools, everyone knows Milwaukee. Pretty respected brand. This is a little demonstration the guy at the Craig stand was doing. That's Mark, who is the international sales representative for Craig, and I got to hang out with him for that. So here we are, the day doing the first 4,000 RPM. Put him here. Okay, that snag now is acting as an extension of my body. I'm going to act as a huge capacitor and absorb electricity out of it. I'm not going to go slow. When it's done it, the blade will have disappeared under the table. The riving knife will still be sitting there. You ready? Here we go. Now, blade has gone. I've got a full solid red light down here saying the... What do you think of that? That's pretty amazing, that saw. Every time I do it, and I've activated that saw probably up to around about 60 times now. Not that particular model, but we'll do a few demos and on each saw, and it works. Never failed. It's a fantastic machine. You know, I talked to people there and I said, you know, have you seen a demonstration? Oh yeah, I've seen it on the internet, buddy. Yeah, well, it's nothing like seeing it in the flesh. Sorry about the flesh, but it really is amazing. You see that woman in the background, she jumped and activated. I was like that the first time I did it. I'm going to have a bit of a read. Andrew from New Brunswick, Bicky tuning in for the old tools. Oh, good on you, Bicky. They're all on the table in front of me, and I'm going to have a chat about all of them. Okay, Russell, right. Hey, John Lafferty, have you a chance to look at the engineering a Craig jig dustport. That's an interesting idea. Seem to be living in the wrong country. We don't get that here in New Zealand, don't you, Chris? All right, now I'm going to show you a picture. Someone's just chatting about John there. This is poor old John, only a week ago. You know, looking in it, we did a special on John with polycystic kidney disease, and he's got a kidney in there that's about the size of a football. So, you know, it's huge. But John strives on, and this is what he's up to now. He's back in his shed, and he's punching out orders like you wouldn't believe. And we'll come back to here. I'll do a quick read. Prepared to put your finger in front of it? Yes, I am. Not a problem. Not a problem. I'm not allowed to, but I do it. You know, I hit that sausage. Now, how it works is there's 3 volts running through the blade. The brake is actually an aerial. It's sensing the current constantly. As soon as there's a disruption to that current, and how that works is by you are a human capacitor. You absorb electricity out of it. So that snag that I'm holding is basically just an extension of my body. As soon as it touches the blade, and it must touch the blade, not just near it, 4,000 RPM to nothing. It's just, you've got to see it happen. And as I say, it's not a nanny state thing. I keep on telling people, it's like a seatbelt in a car. And I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in Australia, you'll get fined if you're not wearing a seatbelt in the car. That's all there is to it. And everyone fully intends to come home after they go out for a day. Get in a car, you fully expect to come home. But how many fatalities are on the road every year? You know, I just keep on saying to people, it's not a nanny state. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. That's your call, you know. They're your fingers. Where are we now? Those damn OH and S rules, hey? Yeah, that's exactly right. You're going to finish off the comparison of up, down, spiral, and straight versus the torquedo. Not today, Greg. I haven't got anything set up. I was thinking about doing that, but I thought, look, I'll just work on the old tools today. I'm a bit tired because I've been working, you know, in another state in the country, and yeah, just a bit flat. So maybe next week I might have a look at the rest of the other cutters, the other router cutters. And to be fair, for that spiral down cut, I did pull it out of the router after I did the demo, and it's a little bit blunt, and I'm guessing that's why it wasn't cutting as well. There was a little bit of a burn mark on the edge of the plywood where I was cutting through it. But the CMT and the torquedo were both as sharp as each other. And I have been considering possibly taking the outside blades off the stack and just running the chippers, because they're all a 4-blade chipper, each one, and they've got a bump on the back of it. So it's basically like a limiter on it. Now, I would want to stack them equally around the stack, so maybe I'd have, if there's 5 in the stack, you know, it's just one of those things I'm thinking about and testing it on a box joint, not for doing a slot, but for maybe doing a box joint in a jig, running it over a sled on the table saw. That might work, you know. It's I really don't like promoting against what a manufacturer has stated. Now, they state that you must have those outside blades on, and they've got teeth all the way around, so it's going to be safer with the teeth on. But I am tempted. I don't know. But look, the other thing I was thinking of is I might take my CMT stack to a saw doctor and get them to grind the whole thing so it's all totally flat, even the outside blades, so that there is no spur up to the sides doing the slicing. So in a box joint, I think that'd be better than having those little wings sticking up. Anyway, just curious. I'm sure I'm not the only person that thinks about these things. Okay, respectful. Dave, did you check out the music in Queensland? Apparently you have both types, country and western. Do they indeed? Mark Foster, have you been working with too many old fools, tools, or old fools with tools? I've no idea, Mark. Nicholas from Sweden, love your vids. Would love to watch a video where you use only old tools, do a project versus some with the new tools, or perhaps hand tools. You know, I've had that challenge before. I've been asked to do something totally with Arthur's tools. And you know what, one day maybe I will. I'm never past up for for being up for a challenge. Evening from Carl. Severe storms in the air recently. Landslide near my home, taking down the power lines. Been off much of the evening. Cross your fingers. Well, Carl, I hope it doesn't interrupt the show or your super dog watching the show. I hope he's comfortable there on the lounge in his little bed and hanging out with us. All right. Yes, John, be safe. I'm going to quickly read through this and then we'll hook in. It's 10 past already. Okay, so new and old tools. Don't forget your heritage. Exactly right. Now, these are all Arthur's tools. Now, Arthur was my great-great-grandfather. I think I've got a picture of him here to share with you guys. Actually, I've got more than that. I've got a picture of him in the center there. And on the left-hand side is his dad. So that's my great-great-grandfather. And on the right-hand side is my great-great-grandmother. Okay, running a bit late today, Peter. Okay, and Zane, Frood do a box jointing saw blade. I know a few of them. Torquetta also do a box joint blade, and that looks pretty interesting. Switch back over to here. So that could be interesting to have a look at as well. But you know, I don't really want to run out and buy things, although they'd probably give me one if I asked them for it. Andrew, I guess you're losing Matthias since he's moving to Fredericton. Yeah, that's a shame about Matthias, isn't it? He's pulled up not very well. His joints are giving him curry, and he's sold his country home, and he's moving over to near his father-in-law, who apparently had a stroke, and they just want the family be together. And I wish all the best to Matthias. Matthias is a lovely person. He's such a character. Every time he releases a video, I'm keen to watch it, because what he comes up with is just left field. It's terrific. Only found a notification you were going to be on 10 minutes ago. What is going on? I have no idea, Ed. No idea. You have to keep on making sure that bell is pressed. If you subscribe to the channel, click the bell's pressed. And if you're on Facebook, I always try and make sure that I get a post out that we're going to be having it. So there's the heritage thing, and you had a quick look at the owner of these tools. Now, Arthur died in 1949, so, you know, that's a fair age. Rummage through Arthur's toolbox, which is what we're going to do. Postcard from the Gold Coast, but I've already done it. John Lafferty back in the saddle for a while, and he's going to be punching out these guys. This is the vacuum port for the UJK Path Guide system. Now, John also said to me, you know, they've got, I'm going to put it here, go to the second camera. There we go. The color's not quite as good over there. There we go. Got a transition. There we go. Color's not quite as good over there, but hopefully it's got a better focusing situation at the moment. Now, this thing here, John sells this. This is not a promo. This is just letting you know what's happening. John sells this for $30. He'll post it anywhere in Australia for 10, or international for 15. UJK Systems have brought out their own dust port, and it kind of locks onto the side and comes down here a little bit. And I worked out it was going to cost $76 posted to Australia. So $40 versus 76. You know, I'm pretty happy with John's, and also seeing John's a member of our little society here. I love to back what he does. And I'll flip to the next camera again. Back over to this one. Oh wow, Tim, that's great that you collect all those planes from your grandfather. That's great. John, more beginning videos on CNC software being produced, chat and Patreon. All right, you probably saw all that in the intro. Let's have a look. First tool I'm going to show you is this. Now, this is a number 12 Stanley scraper. And these are designed for being used with veneers. I'm going to switch to the other camera. And transition, of course. There it is. Now, I'm going to try and get over here and show you. And John's saying, cheers, Dave. Thanks for the plug. Not a problem, John. You're worth it. You're a sticker, mate. You help us all out. So this thing is designed for scraping veneers. Now, you could obviously scrape using a conventional scraper, and all that the blade is in this is a scraper. So there it is. It's wedged in, and you can see it down in here. and I can adjust the angle. So there's a screw on the back here that I can adjust, and that will rock the scraper forward or backwards to wherever I want it to be. Now there's a burr on the end here as well. So scrapers work via, it's this direction. There it is. Now scrapers work by a little hook burr. So I'm going to switch back to the other camera. There. So it hooks over, and as you're dragging it, it's got this little hook that's acting. It's not going to interfere with the grain. That's why on highly figured veneers, which they used to use walnut and all that stuff, big time, you can't plane it because it's just going to tear out all over the place. So the hook is actually pulling it backwards onto itself, and it's like its own sacrificial block in front of the blade always. It's a clever thing. I've got a book here that I'll read you a little bit. Okay, children, you ready for a bedtime story? Okay. Splendid guard, vinyl edge of a festival track keeps coming loose. Any suggestions? Bruce, yeah, buy a new one. And clean the old adhesive off with thinners. Wash it down with water, and then let it dry and put a new one. They are a replaceable strip. And once you've got it on, get the saw that's going to be used with it totally, and then cut it, and that will marry your track and the new strip to your saw. And they say that you can flip her over at 45 degrees. If you do, be prepared to take that one off again, the strip, and put a new one on after that, because I've tried it and it undercuts. So if it's just going straight ahead, you'll be fine. About how old is the scraper? I'm glad you asked that. Yes, John should do a live feed. Now, I've got here veneer scraper, 1869 to 1947 is the period of that particular one. Now, Arthur has probably got that. This is a number 12. This is the original. There's a 12 type 1. And so you can tell the standard 12, by the fact that it's got that rounded section at the back here. All right, and also another giveaway is that it's got 12 written on it. I'm going to switch cameras again. Where are we? Camera 1 and 2 there. Can you see it's got number 12 written down here? And also, as I said, the back is rounded. So that's just a straight out, ordinary old number 12. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so good. Now I'm going to read you a little bit about it. Its patent was Leonard Bailey's on the 8th of the 7th, 1855. And I'll come back to the other camera. This one. Dimensions 6 1/4 inches by 2 7/8 inches wide. Cast iron with a rosewood handle. Love it. Finish is japanned. And user info, used for scraping fine hardwood, veneers, and fancy grained woods such as crotch walnut. See, didn't I know that? Before I even read this, I said walnut. Curly maple, bird's eye, and burl woods. The key to successful uses is in sharpening the cutter. Can also be used to tooth a surface prior to gluing and veneering using a 22, 28, or 32 teeth per inch toothing blade. The finer the toothing cutter, the tighter the glue joint. Ground hide glues is preferred to modern glues by old-time cabinet makers. I love it. And it goes on to tell me a whole heap of things. Now, this book that I'm using as a reference is Stanley Tools. And this was given to me by Rick Jackson in America. It says he wrote on the inside, it's just beautiful. To David from Rick Jackson, January 2017. Thanks for a great YouTube channel. P.S. Give my regards to Barry. And he just sent this over to me, and this is beautiful. So there you go. This is my reference book when I was doing the What's in Arthur's Toolbox series. I used that one, and also I used another book that you might be interested in. And this was the Dictionary of Woodworking Tools, and I'll switch cameras again so you can see it, by Salomon. And that's a pretty good book. That was very, very good for me to get a heap of information. Okay, Russ Albright, the numbers, yes, thank you very much. That'd be great. Thumbs up is great. I'll show you another picture of the front of the Stanley tools again, just in case the other one, it didn't show up too well. It's a great book. And it's no puppy either. It's a thick book. All right, talking about books, let's have a look at Arthur's book. And this is one that I inherited. Now, how good is that? Now, Arthur, being my great-grandfather, I checked in here to have a look at the date. And inside is beautiful. Oh, Jingos, be careful with this one. This book is 109 years old. 1909. And the stuff in here, look, I'm just going to open at a random page. It's going to show me how to do a tall boy with a wardrobe above it. And open another random page. No, that wasn't terribly random. It shows me all sorts of things. Look at that chair. Now, I don't know if I'd be able to do those. I really don't know. Camera 2 again. There. All right. Cup of coffee. Hopefully everyone's enjoying it. Later one, my father left. Ian, good morning. Oh, yeah, straight to the corner. Well, Ian, while you're there, let me have a look. Ian is now a rock star as far as his grandchildren are concerned. He had this playing when they dropped round to see him for Father's Day. They couldn't believe it. That's Ian there with me down at his automotive workshop down in Valley Heights. That was pretty cool. Back to camera 2 again. There you go, Ian. That's that was for you. What's the next thing? The next thing. All right, well, here we go. This is another book that I've got. This is Virtuoso. A Studley toolbox. And I love this book. I'm going to go to the other camera just in case. Any page I open that up, it's just beautiful. The mother of pearl, and the detail is fantastic. Yep, just amazing. Stephen, great. I'm already in my jammies. A new segment for the show could be Uncle Dave's bedtime tool stories. Yeah, that could work. I probably already put people to sleep anyway, so why not? John, nice old books, lots of work gone into this. Ian, already done that, Carl. Yes. All right, now the next thing I want to show you is, actually I'll read this. This is from, and I'll see if it can focus on this. I might put on the other camera. That piece of paper was 1926. And this is from the New South Wales Government Railways and Tramways. I told you Arthur was a carriage builder. And from the locomotive branch at Everleigh. Now, Everleigh was basically almost a suburb in its own right, near Redfern, just near Sydney in Australia. And it was totally about the locomotive area and the carriage works for building all of the trains for New South Wales. And there was a station next to it, I think, called Macdonaldtown, and I think that station was totally for the workers at Everleigh. Interesting stuff. This is what I'm saying. Don't forget your heritage. I love this old stuff. So it says here, Dear Sir, 7th of January 1926. This is to Arthur from the head of the branch. I have much pleasure in informing you that the commissioners have approved of you being continued to be paid a merit increase of 8 pence. 8 pence per day from the 1st of January 1926. And what a wonderful New Year's present for Arthur. And for such increase to be paid to you until the 31st of December next. Provided you maintain that satisfactory service which resulted in the increase being given, and which I might add I have every confidence you will maintain. Yours faithfully, E. Lucy, per whoever this head of the branch was. That piece of paper is 92 years old. And I have all of these in his toolbox. As I say, when I inherited this thing, my uncle gave it to me after my great aunt died. And I used to hate this box. It represented a lot of pain to me because I was only a little tacker when I was mowing the lawns for my great aunt. It was buffalo and that grew on top of itself, and I had a very heavy mower and it used to be very spongy, and the mower used to sink down into it, and I was only a little 10-year-old kid. And I used to have to put the petrol in the mower, or you'd call it gasoline in the States. And I used to have to put a 5-gallon drum up on this and decant fuel into a smaller container and then pour it into the mower and go and mow. I had no idea what was in that old box. And then, when she died, I think I was probably in my 20s maybe. And I was the only carpenter in the family, and my uncle said to me, "This is yours." I said, "Yeah, great." Opened it up, and it was just like it was all gold and glowing when it opened up. It's like, I don't know. You see those movies where someone opens up a treasure chest, and it's just this yellow light comes pouring out. That's the feeling I had. And these are them. These are the things that I got. And I love showing people what they are and sharing the stuff about it. And I did a series of 30 videos on his toolbox. The first one or two, they're as I'm starting to get into the hang of it. And that was a while back as well. So my video skills weren't great. But it was a learning experience. It was a journey for me. And I would put a new tool up in front of the audience every week, and we would discover it together. I would say what I thought it was, and other people would throw in comments everywhere. It was fantastic. Well, I could do, but it already has, it's a waxed finish on it almost. It's really, really nice paper. It's lived in that box, which is nice and dry, and there's a lot of tools in there, and there's old oil from when he used to oil the oil stone. Just amazing. I'm going to have a quick read down here. Dave just dug the specs on the box joint blade and would recommend the TS2000 box joint blade from Ridge Carbide. Oh, thank you. Ian Easton, my daughter lived in Erskineville when she was there. The loco sheds were still there at Havryliv, as I remember. They've changed it. They changed it to a art gallery. So they've taken a lot of those sheds down, I believe, and I think they've turned Havryliv into a suburb on its own. And there's art galleries and things in there. And, I've never been there. I should really go there and have a look. It's a shame that they've got rid of a lot of the stuff, but I guess real estate in that area is worth a bomb. So, for curiosity or for put high-rise on it, I don't know. Okay, Colin Blanchard, good evening from Oregon. Good evening, Colin. Darren, wow, 8 pence for a day's wage. Not bad for back in the 20s. It was an increase of 8 pence. So that's okay too. So it was, I'm pretty sure it was an increase. It wasn't just 8 pence. I'm checking that all my batteries are fine, and I think they are. A merit increase of 8 pence. Yes, that's what he said. How cool is that? Okay, Bicky's Restoration. Those videos are how I found you so long ago. Thanks, Bicky. As I say, this is the other thing I'm going to talk about today, and I'll do that right now. I've just finished doing a video last night on the CNC machine. Now, it's such a contrast to have these. Now, this is in my blood. It's got to be, I think people have a tendency or a leaning towards being creative. Now, whether they're going to show it via painting or by hand tools or by welding something, a sculpture, or by using a CNC machine to express what they want, or to just the fact that they know how to do it and they've got a bit of a leaning towards it. There's a lot of people that don't. You know, our little show here, we're a special kind of a breed. Believe me. Not everyone is like us. My son, for instance, he loves sport and he's very, very good with mathematics, but he doesn't really have much of an interest in this kind of stuff or making things. He thinks on another plane. He loves chess. He subscribes to a guy who just does chess all the time, and that's what floats his boat. You know what I mean? It's just we're a special breed. So this video that I was doing, it's on Aspire. It's the second in a series that I'm doing. I've actually did 2 yesterday. So this video is on taking quickly drawing another vector, but quicker this time. The first video I did drawing this vector really slowly because I wanted everyone to get a hold of what I was doing, and I finished at the end of that vector. And that took about 15 minutes. I was introducing you to Aspire at the same time. This video that I've released it, but it's not public yet. I just want to release it probably later on in the week. But it's doing that vector again very quickly, only takes about a minute, and showing you some other things on how to create a second or third or fourth vector from that and how to space it out, how to dimension it, how to then go from CAD, which is computer-aided drawing, over to CAM, which is computer-aided machining, and then create a tool path and, you know, set the depths of the plunge and which cutter we're going to use, all of that kind of stuff, and then all the way up to saving it, just prior to saving it as a TXT file. And that will then, the next video I'm doing is going into from the TXT file into a program called Mach 3, which is the one that actually tells the CNC to machine what to do. It's a G-code converter, I guess you could say. You take the G-code in there and the machine starts doing it, and we actually cut a job out. So I'm hoping, I really am hoping, that those few videos are going to appeal to more than just the people that are interested in CNC, because I see this as a total environment. I see these guys here and I see that CNC machine out there as being all in the same boat. It's just that they're at different periods of the timeline. I'm waffling a bit, aren't I? Anyway, I'm going to start reading again. New for speed, old for the craft. Exactly right, Barry. Paul, Dave, the Everly sheds are still there. They have maintained the heritage and put theatres and galleries inside. The rails are still in the cement floor. I'm going to go and have a look. I want to have a look. Bickies, hey Peter, hey Bicky, you guys, you know, do you want a room? Paul Medtech, I love old tools, normally restore them and use them as intended. I'm not a collector, although I do have a double-handed saw that I'm most likely never going to use. Those things, man, oh man, they've got teeth about this monstrous, you know, and they'll take your arm off. Okay, Carl, 101.47, excellent. Ian, I need to go back and have a look. I remember them as being kind of run down when I was there. I'll tell you what, we should do that. We should all go down and have a look. Chris Sullivan, what is the idea behind buying the CNC, Dave? Chris, I did not buy the CNC. I'll tell you the story of it. I've told the story before. Don't waffle. Different tools for different jobs. Okay, so about in January this year, I was approached by a guy from Vectric who make the software, Aspire and VCarve and all that kind of stuff. And he saw that my numbers were getting up on my channel. And, you know, this happens all the time. You know, the more subscribers I have, the more I'm approached by different people. And, you know, a lot of them seeing it as an advertising vehicle for them. And fair enough, you know, it makes the world go round. We watch TV and we watch ads and, you know, it's one of those things. Keeps a lot of people employed. And it lets us know about product. Now, I don't just do anything because there's some people approach me and I've said, no, I'm not doing it. Didn't pertain to what I'm doing. A company approached me about doing LED driving lights for a four-wheel drive. Well, you know, it's not my boat. I'm not doing it. They were going to give me all this stuff. And no. Okay, so getting back to the story. Vectric got in touch with me and I said, look, they said, do you want our software? And I said, what am I going to do with it? I haven't got anything to run it on. And that was that. And then a few weeks later, I got an email back from them again. Look, if we can get a hold of a machine for you, would you be interested? And I said, well, of course I would be. And then I put it to the forum. I put it to Dave Stanton's livestream Facebook page because I was undecided. I said, look, I've been offered a machine because then I was offered the machine and I eventually got it. The story's already come out. Not that it was being hidden, but I've always told people about it. And then before I got the machine, I asked people, what would you do? You know, should I get this machine or should I say, no, forget it, and just stick on doing things by hand tools and power tools? And pretty much everyone, there was one or two, said, we don't think that's a great idea, Dave. You might lose the character of the channel. And I considered that. And I thought, well, look, we're going forwards in life. I really do want to learn more. I don't want to become stagnant. And CNC machines are becoming much more popular. There's a lot of people who've got a small CNC in their garage, and they're great for doing beautiful carving, and So mine was given to me as a big monster, and what am I going to do? So that took me through the process then of cleaning up my garage, grinding the floor, epoxying it, painting all the walls, and I took everyone on the journey with me. You don't have to do this, but I was showing you what was happening with me. I wasn't going to turn around and say, no, forget it. So that's how I got it. All right. Okay, so CNC with real wood rather than MDF. Your knowledge of grain and direction of cut will come into the programming. Correct, Barry. Thank you. What do you use to protect the old tools? They live in that box. Arthur's toolbox is fantastic. Now, inside this room, I have reverse cycle air conditioning. So that can also be an advantage. If I haven't been in the room for a while, well, then the moisture does build up. But inside that toolbox, nothing gets damp. I can't believe it. These tools are in such good condition, and the average age of these tools would be 100 years old. I just don't get it. Okay, John, the promos help, but Dave is a hard taskman on quality. Indeed I am. Indeed I am. Now, let's have a look at some of these other tools. We're starting to get into it. Now, I'm going to switch cameras, and I'm going to hold a tool up in front of the camera, and I'm going to have a chat about it. All right? Here we go. Switch it over here, and switch over to there. And I'll have to stand up for this part. And I'm going to be drinking coffee as well in the meantime. This is Arthur's level. It's brass and rosewood. I'm just reading there. Have I looked at the Torquetta flat top dado saw? I have not, but I will. Now this is just beautiful. This reminds me of Jules Verne, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's just done so nicely. And I'll read the name on it. Best proved level tube warranted. Now, I don't know what that means. And I don't know if Arthur hit it with his stamp. Yes, he did. I don't know if you can see that. See that? A. Johnson. Now, also, we've got here CNC and Stanton bench U4C. U4C correctly. And I've let them know as well. I said, I'm going to start producing my bench. And they're fine with that. I've already done all the drawings for it, so it's ready to go. I still need to just get my head around the machine. And the second video I did, I'm showing you some of the mortise marking gauges. Now see this one, it's got a tiny, tiny, tiny little nail on the end there. Now this tool, I'll just move this out of the way. This tool also works on a cam. So you twist it. And that's how it works. See inside there? I'll show you the other side, might work better. There. Now, as you twist it, it jams in. And that's how you set it. That is lovely. I'll show you the end section. Whoop, cameras. It might work a bit better there. There you can see it now. Okay, no, the pin is not the wedge. It's just you rotate it. You rotate it and it becomes slippery, and then as you turn it, it's got a cam action. See, as you turn it, it locks. Again, the focus isn't great, but you know that's the way it goes. This is another little marking gauge he's got. It's got two sides, so you can set up two at once. So it doesn't have to be a mortise gauge. It's just two. So he would have, scribed down the timber on one side and then turn it around and scribe again. So there's the pin, and there's the pin on that one. They're brilliant. Okay, what's another one here? Just an ordinary marking gauge, but this one has got a blade. So it's for going across grain. It's a little blade and a chisel, and a little wedge there. I'm thinking I might make a screen one day that lives across the back here, and I can put things up in front of it, and it should acquire focus much better, but I haven't had time this week. Now I'm putting things down there as I'm going. This guy here is a plough plane for ploughing out a slot, and he's done some additions here. So he's got a fence here that there's your blade for the plough plane there. And this is your riving knife that makes it follow in that situation. And you can set your width, and you can set the depth. On the back here is a screw, and this here as well. Now that adjusts the foot inside here. I don't know if you can see it, down inside there. These are amazing. These are brilliant. And he's got his stamp on just about everything. I don't know if you can see it there. So that's the plough plane. And then we've got a dowel maker. Now this guy here has also got screws in the side here. And how that works is that creates the glue slot in the side of the plane. So you drive your dowel or your piece of timber down through there, and it can actually make your square piece of timber circular as he's belting it through, and it will also put the glue slot in the side. So that's that. And then we've got a little number 98. Now there's a 98 and a 97 or a 99. I forget which one it is, but they oppose each other. This one is designed to go into a rebate, or as you guys in the States call it, a rabbet. R-A-B-E-T, not I-T. Anyway, so in Australia and I think the UK, we call it a rebate. And that's a very, very sharp blade underneath. You can see underneath. There's the blade there, and it goes all the way out to the edge and underneath. So it just cleans up the edge. And then he's got also, now where is it? I hope I brought it over here. There it is. He's got another one. This does the other side. And you look at it and you go, my goodness, it's a monster. Well, I don't know if he made this or had someone make it or what was going on, but here's the chisel that goes into it. And again, I've done the video on these. So I can slide this into there, and you can see it's coming down to where it needs to go. And there it is. Oh. I'm working upside down at the same time. So there's the blade in the bottom. And all it is a dirty big chisel. So I'll tighten this screw up. That's locked in. And you can see as he's been sharpening the end here, he's had to create a little checkout here for the handle to be able to, let me see if I can roll it over. I'll undo it and you can have a look better look. You can see just here, he's had to create a bit of a relief for the handle to be going in this way. That's amazing. So I'm popping them down on the bench as I'm going. Again, I'll put a link for what's in Arthur's Toolbox, the series. It's a playlist, and you can have a look at them. I'm going to have a bit of a read. Barry Docks and the twin-in-one Darren Rebate versus Rabbit. R-A-B-E-T or R-A-B-B-E-T. I love these old tools, says Wayne. Big Screen Bird. T9 is absolutely favourite lube and protector. Tim G, hope it survives in the smaller format. Only time will tell. I wasn't wrapped with it, but hey, and I'm part of the WMA. Did you go check out Pirates Tavern outside? This is another Boeing Raft. It's good enough for me. Good stuff. I agree. Okay, I must have missed that part of the conversation. This is a chamfer plane. And again, I love doing the videos because I learnt so much about all the tools. It was fantastic. Everyone was helping up big time. It's got a sliding stop on the front that kind of sets the depth, and you can bring the blade back in here. And with all of these planes, how you get the blade out is you hit the back with a hammer, and the blade and the wedge both pull out together. Ebony, I thought Big Screen Bird is being rude. Hi, Eb, how are you? Well, if Big Screen Bird is being rude, well, I've got people there that can look after him. We're talking about the Working with Wood show at Seaworks. Okay. Here we go. Here's another one. Now, I say that these are my great-grandfather's. Well, these are Ebony's great-great-grandfather's tools, as she's my daughter. Okay, Russ, very cool tools. I'll bet some of them work better than the more modernized versions today. They could do, but you know, I was looking at some of these and looking at some of the Veritas ones. Okay, now, all right. John, do you want to have a quick look at what Ebony's talking about there for me? That'd be great. Or Carl. I have no idea. I've been focusing on this. Now, when I first got this, I thought this was brass, but I think it may be gunmetal. I've been told that that's how they were made. And also when I was talking about this stuff here, on the front here, there's a rebate this way. The Norris version, I think, has a bump out in the front that you put your finger under. I'm not sure, but this is sharp as, and I used it inside one of the dados that I cut with the saw blades the other day just to muck around with it, and did a magic job. Absolutely beautiful. All right, so there's that one, and it lives in a cedar box that Arthur made. And then we've got a hollow and round. So this is the hollow, I think. Now these things are made in pairs. So you'd have one would be the male, I guess, and the other one would be the female. One would be convex, like this one, and the mate for it would be concave. And they were sets. Nothing inappropriate. Okay, thanks. All good. Excellent. So these things, again, they're just beautiful. Don't you love them? And someone said to me once, gee, they're worth a few dollars, Dave. Well, you know what? They may well be, but they're not going anywhere. There is no way that I'd sell up my heritage here. These will go to my children, or one of them. I don't know. Sometimes it's best to give it to one child rather than to a lot. And then the set doesn't get broken up at all. I have someone also said maybe a museum would be a good idea. And maybe I should. Okay, now this is a bullnose plane. Now the thing with this bullnose plane is that you can't take the end off. On some of the modern bullnose planes, you can take that off so you can get right into a corner. But this one you can't, obviously, because it's all cast. Again, I don't know if this is brass or gunmetal. I'd be curious to find out. Looking to adopt, Dave. Sorry, respects Wood. No, not happening. I've got enough kids. Yeah, you want them all, sweetie. Okay, so the reason this thing here is on the front, it stops the front of the plane digging in as you're planing with it. So you would use this in conjunction with these guys, and then you just use a chisel in the end and knock it out. Now we're nearly done as far as all of these tools are concerned. I have another one here. I'm just going to pop those over there. This is called a pad saw. Now, a lot of people would call this a fret saw, and the electricians like these ones for knocking holes in gyprock. And I don't know if you can still get them as per this style, but it's beautiful. It's old brass, and I haven't cleaned the brass off. I've been really tempted. Okay, you think they're brass, Vicky? Excellent, thank you. You like that little one, Barry? It's even true pieces of history. These are just amazing. So how this works is you loosen those off, and inside is a blade. And see here? I could pull the blade out if I had a screwdriver here. Hold on, let me see if I've got a screwdriver. I should have. I'm going to tell you why. This is my junk drawer. And that brings me on to something else. While you're looking at that, I'm going to get a screwdriver out of that junk drawer. I want you to send me a picture of a junk drawer that you might have. I'm just going around to that screwdriver junk drawer now to see if I can find one. Come on, there he is. Okay, that screwdriver there. I was going to try and find one of Arthur's, but no, couldn't do it. Here we go. So I'll bring you back from there. So I want you to send in a picture of your junk drawer to davestantonfans@gmail.com. Can you do that for me? That would be fantastic. I'll switch over here. All right, so here it is, screwdriver in here, and we can loosen that off a little bit. It should push. Let's see. No, it doesn't want to push down there. I might have to get in there with something a little bit skinnier. Another one. It's lucky I've got a truckload of screwdrivers, otherwise I'd be stuck. Which one's going to do it for me? That one might do it. Yep, beautiful. How cool is this? Found it. So I just stuck a screwdriver in the end, pushed it down, and there's the blade. I don't know. I have never pulled that blade out ever. Look at that. And then you tighten this up. Reminds me of Japanese folding saws. Nip that up. And that is really sharp. I had to make one at school. Okay, Russ, I was just thinking the same as Vicky's restorations. Respectable Dave junk drawer is better than my actual tool drawer. I have several junk drawers from Tim. Ian, you want a picture of my garage, Barry, junk workshop, Zane, that describes my entire toolbox. So many drawers, but which one? Have one similar but has a hacksaw blade also. Yeah. So this is basically a keyhole saw or a fret saw, whatever you want to call it. This particular one was called a pad saw. And I'm guessing because that fits into the pad of your hand. How good is it? I love it. All right, that's going to do, and look at this, is it kind of some kind of a felt that they put the tools in to keep them protected from moisture. You can buy plain socks these days that does the same kind of thing. I'm going to switch the cameras around to here. Well, today's been a totally different kind of day, hasn't it? It's just been, as I say, I didn't have anything planned. I thought, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, you know, seeing I'm doing the CNC videos at the moment, I wanted to show that I haven't lost touch with the reality. These are my roots, and I'm so curious and really want to learn the CNC and have some fun with it, and knock some things out. Maybe make a couple of bucks selling some tops, and trying to get creative with it. And I'm only at the 2D stage at the moment, two-dimensional. There is a 2.5 dimensional and a 3 dimensional, And the guys that have given me the machine have told me also that they'll help me out with learning. So I guess they see that if they can teach me, then I can pass on more information and teach more people. You know, share the news. Why not? You know. All right, where are we up to here? Having a quick look. Would like a trip to Japan to see their woodworkers. Gonna. Will hold a sawzall blade. How old is yours, John? Oh no, Carl. How old is your pad saw? Thanks for sharing all of the old tool. Very cool to see. Respects Wood. In 100 years, some descendants will be doing a show and tell about your CNC machine. Yeah, they'll have replicators. They'll just say Queen Anne nightstand. Make it. It'll just appear. It's like on Star Trek or Star Trek. I get those two mixed up all the time. Where are we up to? 10:56. You got anything else you want to throw up, guys? I'm going to have a quick look here, see if I've got everything else down the side there. I've done the Gold Coast. I'll show you. Do a demo. I'll do a quick demo. When I was up there, Jeremy Carter, who's a member of the forum of the group, he gave me this tape. Now this is a 32 or something. It's nearly a 38 millimeter wide, or nearly a 30 millimeter wide blade. It's monster. Okay, now they probably already are traveling in time. Okay, now this they say has a standout of 4 meters. What do you reckon? There's 1 meter. And I'm not going to let go of this. I'm just going to keep pulling it out. There's 2 meters. And it's holding on its own. Not a problem. I think I need to go back here further, guys, and watch this. Okay, that's 2 meters. I'm going to go around behind here. Alrighty, you can still see me all right? That's 2 meters. I'm going to come out another meter. That is 3 meters. Ha! I'm going to come out more. Now that's 4 meters there. That's insane. Now I am bringing my hand back along the tape, and we'll see. I'm going to come over carefully because I don't want to shock it. Here we go. I know Jeremy gave me this for a reason. He knew I'd show everyone on the show. So I'm still pushing it out. My supporting hand is now on 3.6. Oh, she snapped to 3.7. What do you think of that? And she's coming back in. 3.7 meters. That's over 12 feet. That's impressive. When I was on the tools, these would be fantastic because if you're up a ladder or on a scaffold and you're trying to measure weatherboards out to the side of you, the smaller tapes would probably only go out about 2 meters, and you'd be struggling, and it might be 2.1, and you're just about there, and you go junk. You got nearly crying. Anyway, this thing, that's pretty cool. Thanks for that, Jeremy. I hope you sell truckloads of them, mate. All right, I think that's going to do us for the moment. Let's have a look here. I'm going to have a quick look down here. Whatever you show is interesting to... Oh, thanks, Bob. Please let me know if you thought the video this week is any better. Now, you guys have got to remember that I'm on a very, very slow upload speed. So it's not just the camera. The camera is actually more high definition. It's my internet connection. I upload at 0.7 to 0.8 of a megabyte per second. Now, I'm told in about 6 months' time I will have a much, much better connection, and I will be able to give you full HD as clean as a whistle. But until then, I have to try and make what I've got work. Now, this camera, I think, is giving me a whole lot better. It may be oversaturating my skin tone a little bit. But the other camera, and I'll flick the other camera on now, and you'll see that it looks washed out in comparison. It all depends on what you've got to compare it to. So I'll flick the other one back on. So it'd be interesting, Bob, because I know that you were concerned that the new camera was not doing very well. Okay, Ebony, I'll try back in time to hang out with you. Your saw is 50 years old. Looks like a boxwood handle. Stephen, you think things are going great? Lost Bits, I saw a 3D printed handle to fit jigsaw blades. Looked to be a homage to your pad saw. Wow. All tools, old and new, are interesting. Thanks, Darren. Paul, when you think about it, a CNC is just a more sophisticated power tool. Yes. Yes. Ian, a new fishing rod. Is that what you're saying there? Thanks, Dave. Love the show once again. The video is much, much better. Thank you. Andrew, thanks as always. Zane, it's another great show. Always interesting. Dave, another great show from Planty. Paul, great show, Dave. Love the old tools. Barry, I watched them back later and they are great. Okay. Wayne, bye all. Keep safe. Thanks for the showing, Dave. It was a cool show. Thanks, Dave. From Chris, Bob Llewellyn, your skin tone looks better too. You look healthy. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. I think I'm going to have to say goodbye. Look after yourselves. Be kind to one another. And I shall see you next week. Don't forget, midweek, I'll probably release a couple of videos.